بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. So we're going through hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, hadith number 202 in Mishkaat Hadith. This also comes in Bukhari. So the main part of the hadith, the main keywords, لا حسد إلا في اثنتين. So this is the full hadith from Abu Mas'ud al-Badri radiyallahu ta'ala anhu قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, and he says لا حسد إلا في اثنتين. Some riwayats have في اثنين. There is no hasad except in two things. We'll explain that individually, detail. And the two things are, summary is, a person whom Allah has given wealth and that person spends it in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And number two is a person who Allah gives hikmah and ilm to, and he teaches it, he spends his life according to this, and we'll go through each one individually. Now, the first thing that we have here is the word hasad. Now, if you look at it here, we have two words, very similar. The one here on this side is tamanni mithli ni'mati ahadi. If you have a desire, you have a wish to acquire the ni'mah, the blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon somebody else. That's one. And the other is, so this is tamanni, mithli tamanni husuli. You can put husuli in here if you want, husul. And here's tamanni zawal. Yes? So you wish to acquire, and on this side is what? That the ni'mah goes away. Yes, you wish to acquire something, or you wish that ni'mah that a person has, it goes away. And that's what the most of the scholars have mentioned. I put in that little thing in the red brackets, لِغَرَضٍ فَاسِد. If the gharad is fasid, because a person may think, well, it's a dunyawi ni'mah, but it's very harmful for him. For example, like nuclear power. Or somebody's got extreme wealth, because of that wealth, he's in fasad and fitna. Or somebody, it could be a situation where you say, well, that thing that he has is harmful for him, so I wish it goes away from him. Yes, so if it's gharad fasid, like just hate for hatred, but if it's out of hub for him, hub for the Muslimun, then it's okay. I wish Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes away his kingdom, because he's causing murder, he's causing bloodshed. So now you want that ni'mah to go away, because mulk is also ni'mah, so you might as well have the mulk. But if you want to go away for gharad and fasid, then you say this is now a problem. But if it's not gharad fasid, it's a gharad sahih, then there's kalam in that. So this one is called غبطة. When you simply wish and desire that you acquire the ni'mah that Allah has bestowed upon somebody else, it's called غبطة. And if you wish that the ni'mah goes away from somebody else, it's called hasad. That's one definition. And another definition is that no. And now we call this غبطة benign envy. What's it called? Benign envy. I mean, I tried looking for it before. Now ChatGPT is available, and ChatGPT said this is benign envy. It's called malicious envy. So benign means that it has a good element. In English, and ChatGPT's official fatwa is, if you're looking for a single word that fully encapsulates the idea, it may not exist, but benign envy comes closest in spirit. That's what ChatGPT suggested. I think in Spanish there's a word for it in other language, maybe Spanish in other language, where it has غبطة has the equivalent translation. And in English have envy, but if you look at the word envy, some people have said no, envy doesn't work. But they said the sifa mawsuf before, the sifa, benign envy and malicious envy. Malicious means have like hatred, or you want evil for somebody else. So if you put these two before it, the غبطة as benign envy and hasad as malicious envy. That's what the suggestion was from here. I looked it up, but that's what they came up with. Okay, now some people have said that hasad also includes the second part. You want the ni'mah to become za'il, and if you wish it for yourself. But the main part of hasad is the first part. You want somebody else's ni'mah to go away. That's called hasad. And sometimes you may just wish to acquire it. Sometimes you don't care if you get it or not. You just want it to go away. Are you following? You following? Acha. Right. Now, because both of these have very close meaning. What's a close meaning? Tamanni ni'mati ahadin. Somebody else's ni'mah is involved. And you have studied in balagha, and you've studied this. The words like are not formulated, and use is not formulated in a classroom or in a science lab, and a conference. Words are used naturally, and then the usages and overlap, and you could use majaz and kinayat, and you can use. So because hasad has that ni'matu ahadin, so because of that it is used majazan for غبطة. So you use the word غبطة, which means benign envy, and even though normally and the linguistic way that we've seen hasad usually used is malicious envy, but in this hadith the word hasad has been used for benign envy, meaning you wish to acquire the ni'mah of somebody else without having any ill feelings regarding somebody else. Now regarding all the details of what is hasad, what is tamanni, what is tanafus, we'll do that in Kitab al-Riqaq inshaAllah. It's a quite interesting discussion. Okay, so we say majazun bil qurb because the both meanings have a overlap. The overlap is in ni'mati ahadin, ni'mati ahadin. So because of that close link, the Arabs and people use this even in our daily language. You see this that because words are very close. For example, I was doing a poem yesterday. It's talking about World War One. It wasn't called World War One. It was called the Great War then. Yes, they didn't plan World War Two, so that time it was called the Great War. So the Great War, they said, oh, the children are being talk about the children, and the children didn't mean children. What did it mean? The young men, because young men had just come out of childhood. It refers to them as children. That's one opinion regarding the poem. Yes. So children are close to young adults, so you can call them children as well. Yes, and that also happens in propaganda wars that we see nowadays as well. So majazun bil qurb, they use majaz. Okay, now, when you say hasad, it means غبطة. Imam Bukhari rahmatullah alayhi, he's got the word, he uses this in a few places. And each time he says اختباط. So he says لا حسد إلا في اثنتين. When he says hasad, he puts the tarjuma to the bab and he calls it babul اختباط. Not hasad, he says babul اختباط, which means the غبطة, benign envy. It's not referring to malicious envy, it's not referring to hasad. Similarly, it comes in another place in Bukhari, it says babu اختباط صاحب القرآن. So he always uses the word اختباط, which means that it means غبطة. And that's the majority of the scholars have that opinion. So now, what does the hadith mean? لا حسد إلا في اثنتين. One is suratan, is جملة خبرية. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam is relaying a piece of information towards us. لا حسد إلا في اثنتين. There is no jealousy موجود. Yes? It's like لا رجل في الدار. So I'm telling you, لا رجل في الدار. لا رجل فوق خلف الحاجز. There's nobody behind a partition. It's information. However, that meaning is difficult. It wouldn't fit because if you say لا حسد إلا في اثنتين, meaning حسد أي لا رجل موجود في الدار. We can't say لا حسد موجود إلا في اثنتين because people are jealous for everything. Jealous of his private plane, jealous of his Lamborghini, jealous of his clothing, jealous of his shoes, jealous of anything, his gold medals. So which means that it's not خبرية. Or no, sorry, it's not خبرية, but it's not لا رجل موجود. It's not لا حسد موجود. What is it? لا حسد, which means غبطة. So لا غبطة مستحسن or مأمور به. There is no worthy malign envy, or there's nothing worthy of benign envy except two things. So you can have tamanni of something else, and that tamanni masla will come up later on. But the Prophet is saying here that it's only mustahsan. There's no ghibta which is mustahsan except in two things. So only two things are worthy of having ghibta really. You may have ghibta of somebody. Oh, mashallah, very nice pen. Let me see. Oh yeah, I should have one of those. I'm happy you have one. I wish I have one of those as well because it's really good in writing. The notes are you can write notes very nice. Oh, nice highlighter. Oh, you got a nice bag. It's very useful. A lot of partitions and I can put my stuff inside very neatly. Okay, TK, permissible. But it's not mustahsan, not like, oh, that's something you should really, I wish I could have a bag like that. Are you following? Achha. Yes, so there are no things, in this situation, we are going to translate this as there are no things worthy, there's no things worthy of having, there's no things worth having benign envy in, except two things, which are the two things mentioned later on. That's the first possibility, the jumlatun khbariya. The second possibility is that is jumla إنشائية بمعنى النهي. So suratan, we say, lafzan is jumlatun khbariya, but ma'nan is jumlatun إنشائية. And what's the ma'na? أي لا حسد أي لا it's like the Quranic verse, فلا رفث ولا فسوق ولا جدال في الحج. So this is a jumlatun خبرية suratan, but ma'na is a jumlatun إنشائية بمعنى النهي. أي لا فلا رفث means what? لا ترفث ولا تفسق ولا تجادل في الحج. It doesn't mean that there's no jidal in Hajj, because jidal happens all the time. People are always fighting, they get angry, they get frustrated and they fight. Okay, so it means here, لا تغبط أحدا في شيء إلا في اثنتين. That the Prophet is saying this nahi is tanzihi, that I recommend you do not have ghibta for anybody in anything except two things. Only these things you really need to have ghibta in. Correct? Acha. Now moving on, it says here rajulin. Yes, so لا حسد إلا في اثنتين, and then the first one rajulin. Now, in any of these scenarios, when you have this kind of scenario, if you say if the riwayah is fi اثنين, it means two people, isn't it? So one riwayah has fi اثنين. You can tell because these words are very similar. The dots, when you have like those old manuscripts, the dots and those things would have been mixed up sometimes. Or maybe the rawi narrated both ways. One of the rawis after the sahab, the tabi, tabu tabi. So say some riwayah have اثنتين, some of اثنين. Whichever one is taken, whichever the words of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam uttered with his blessed tongue, both have a wajh, both have a tawjih. So if it's في اثنين, there's three ways of doing it. Well, not here, two ways of doing it here. But normally it's three ways you can do something like this. What is it? Majrur, because the badal. Yes? لا حسد إلا في اثنين رجل ورجل. So it's badal. Or رجل, because مرفوع and the khabar is khabar and مبتدأ محذوف. لا رجل إلا في اثنين هما رجل وهما رجل. So you can make it رجل or رجل. If it's في اثنتين, then obviously then اثنتين is what? Two female things. And رجل is مذكر. So there's no مطابقة. So you can't make it badal. What do you have to say then? You will say here لا حسد إلا في اثنتين أي في خصلتين. And it would mean here then the خصلة is going to be محذوف before it. So لا حسد إلا في اثنتين رجل أي خصلة رجل. Yes, this seems to be like more, the uslub seems to be more fluid. Yes, there's two possibilities. If it's اثنين, then رجل can be the badal or it can be the khabar. And if it's في اثنتين, then it can't be badal of the رجل. رجل can't be badal of the اثنتين because مؤنث, it would mean here the مبتدأ أي هما هو يا هما خصلة رجل, the sifa, the quality of a person. أچا. فصلته على حلكته. فصلته على حلكته في الحق. So صلته literally means وكله الله ووفقه. Allah gives him the ability and the tawfiq to do something. Now why not say وفقه? يا أوزعه. So he's saying here that it's like a form of what? Isti'ara. That you use the word tasleep. What is صلته means? You have an enemy. You have صلته. He's now Allah has placed لا تصلي علينا من لا يرحمنا ولا يخافك فينا. Do not place upon us with qahar, with force, a resistance. That's what tasallut means. To come over somebody forcefully. So Allah forcefully puts him on his mal. What's the benefit of saying forcefully puts him over his wealth to spend it, to destroy it? So he says abbara bitasli. The word sallata has been used because why? وَمَنْ يُوقَ الشُّحَّ نَفْسِهِ وَأُحْضِرَتِ الْأَنفُسُ شُحْ. That everybody has a shuh, this kind of love for wealth, and everybody has to combat it. So the word sallata is like as if when you have a nation, a group of people, and somebody overtakes them, overthrows them. What is it? Resistance. There's a forcefulness. So this is your nafs. Your nafs also loves the money. What do you have to do? You have to come and combat your nafs and overpower your nafs to get it to spend upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the word sallata expresses that meaning, which is not found in just simply wafaqa. Yeah, so this is the eloquence in this. And then halaka means to destroy something. But halaka really means infaq. So it's a kinaya of infaq kathiran. You like destroying it, like just giving it. Go. So we spend a lot. But that spending a lot is as if you just, what are you doing with your money? So much you're spending. For him, yes. Again, and he used the word halak, that he doesn't even leave anything behind. He spends all of it fi sabilillah. But obviously, this is remember, you have to remember principle, is you cannot take one hadith and just act upon it without looking at the whole sharia. Yes, so what the other places say, that if you leave your family mustaghni, that they have enough money, it's better than you leaving them without what? But then you leave them without wealth and they're begging from people afterwards. So it's like you have to put everything together. Yes? So it doesn't mean, and then also Prophet said, fil haq, that's ihtiras in balagha. Now you may think, spend it anywhere. Not spend it anywhere, what? Spend it fil haq, ta'at, this is ihtiras from balagha. You may think, you might have a wrong meaning that will come to mind. So Prophet will clarify this meaning, not in any way, not in batil, not in tabdhir, but what? Fil haq. Yeah, so again, you have to understand this from many perspectives. One is, what about your people who are you're responsible for? They have a priority. Then you don't need tabdhir. وَلَا تُبَذِّرْ إِنَّ الْمُبَذِّرِينَ كَانُوا إِخْوَانَ الشَّيَاطِينَ. So all of these put together spend a lot in the framework set from all the other hadith. Yes, the Prophet ﷺ is not a lawyer. He's not writing a book of law that each time he's going to sit down and mention all the conditions. And you have to understand the whole what's in the background. Do you understand? So spend a lot as if you're not leaving anything behind. If you've got nobody to look after, spend all of it. You have less people to look after, spend a lot of it. You have a lot of people to look after, spend less of it. But a lot within the range that you can spend. Yes? Acha, you got it? Acha, and now in the next part we have the word warajun called hikmah. Now that's supposed to come after the end. I spoiled it. That's a spoiler. So really hikmah is al-man'u min al-dhulmi. Al-man'u min al-dhulm. Yes, so you say hakama is to stop somebody from doing oppression. And you say, for example, to stop somebody. So hakamtu safiha or ahkamtuhu is when you grab his hand and stop him from doing dhulm. You say ahkamtu safi. This person has less intellect, so we stopped him from spending his money. Because he doesn't know how to spend his money. Like a young child, not reach bulugh. So he did not know how to spend their money. Similarly, you have a zalim. What's a zalim doing? Oppression. Ahkamnahu. We have done what? We have stopped him. And this is the poem here. Bani Hanifa, O Bani Hanifa, ahkimu sufaha'akum. Stop your sufaha. So they use the word ahkim to mean what? To stop. Inni akhafu alaykum an aghdaba. I am worried that he irritates me, agitates me. And as a result, something happens to you. So ahkimu sufaha'akum. Stop your sufaha. It doesn't mean make them wise. It means what? Stop them. And from there you have hakamtu dabba or hakamtuha. What does that mean? When you put the bite, this is called the bite here. So when you put that in the horse's mouth, when you have that, what do? You pull it, and obviously it might cause some kind of inconvenience to the horse. So when you pull it, the horse comes back, it stops. It goes right, it goes left. However you wish to control the horse, you can by having the hakama. What does hakama do? It stops you. So when you have hikmah, what does it do? It stops you from being a fool. It stops you from doing stupid things. It stops you from doing things that are harmful for you in the dunya and the hereafter. So hikmah is made from the word hakama. And hakama is that thing that stops you. Kitabun uhkimat ayatu. Now, the ayah are muhkam, they're firm, they stop from any misinterpretation or any kind of like faults on the battle. It's just like firm. This horse is firm. It's not wild. It's reined in. It's proper. Do you understand? Achha. So, it says here, وَرَجُلٍ آتَاهُ اللَّهُ الْحِكْمَةِ. So what does hikmah mean? These are all different meanings of the hikmah. Is ilm. One opinion is ilm. Because why? كُلُّ مَا مَنَأْ مِنَ الْجَهْلِ. So hikmah means ilm because why? It stops from jahl and it stops from evil. And Imam Bukhari rahmatullah says, Babul ikhtibati fil ilmi wal hikmah. So that adf is adf tafsir. You find it? So even though it has hikmah in the thing, he says that. And then another place he says here, so that's one possibility, it means ilm. And one possibility means Quran. Hikmah means Quran. Yes? So yu'allimuhumul kitaba wal hikmah. So that adf, according to that, will be then adf tafsir. Allah sent in Nabi, إِذْ بَعَثَ فِيهِمْ رَسُولًا مِنْهُمْ يَتْلُو عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتِهِ وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ. So kitab and hikmah, according to this tafsir, will then be adf tafsir. Not two separate things. Yeah, so he's saying, oh, hikmah is the Quran. The reason being, another riwayah says, رَجُلٌ آتَاهُ اللَّهُ الْقُرْآنَ, not hikmah. And Imam Bukhari says, بَابُ إِخْتِبَاتِ صَاحِبِ الْقُرْآنِ. So it's ilm and Quran, both riwayat are there. But ilm comes from the Quran. The ultimate ilm, which brings you benefit in the dunya and the hereafter, and primarily in the hereafter, is a much more objective and more thing is the Quran. And ilm comes from there. So therefore, there's no really contradiction. The different riwayat, narrator have summarized it, or riwayat bil-ma'na, according to his understanding. يقضي به قضاء يقضي is to pass. So يعمل به ويحكم به. So in summary is, these are the two things. So this is the structure and the sentence of this. But if these two things are worthy of having غبطة, which means that if you have capacity to acquire knowledge, because it's such a great thing that is worth having envy, benign envy of, something worth, wow, this is ilm. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not as giving a person wealth, then he should become worthy of being envied by spending it as much as possible within the hudud and limits set by Islam, and in haq, in good ways, so that he becomes a person who is so good that he should be envied. You understand? May Allah give us tawfiq. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.